Welcome to Kestra. Today I'm going to walk you through how you can start building your very own workflows inside of Kestra. But before we get there, what is Kestra? Kestra is an open source orchestration platform designed to handle workflows of any scale, whether that's a 3-step automation or complex workflows with multiple tasks. In this guide, we're going to get Kestra installed and then we're going to build our very own workflow. Head over to the quick start guide inside of the documentation where we can find a Docker command that will install Kestra in one command. I'm going to copy this command here and then I'm going to go over to my terminal and paste that in and press enter. Now it's going to pull the Docker image and in a minute we'll be able to open Kestra up in our browser. Just make sure that you've got Docker installed on your machine and that you have the Docker engine running. You can do this using something like Docker Desktop. Now that Kestra is running inside of Docker, we can now head over to our browser, we can open a new tab and head over to localhost 8080 where we can now set up Kestra and begin building our workflow. Now we need to add a quick admin account here so that we can log into our Kestra instance and then we're all ready to go and start up the UI. So let's get started. Now that we're in Kestra, we can either build with the tutorial or we can build from scratch. I'd highly recommend using the tutorial to help you learn the fundamentals, but today I'm going to go from scratch and show you how you can build your own workflow together. Now we can also toggle dark mode in the bottom right hand corner in case that's what you prefer. Now I've clicked create a new flow and we're presented with the flow editor. Now there's a few concepts we need to understand here in order for us to be able to build our first flow. Now, every workflow has an ID, a namespace, and a set of tasks. We can change the ID and the namespace before we save, but once it's saved, we can't change it without creating another workflow. So I'm just going to call this my flow. The ID is just a unique identifier for our workflow. It helps us work out what it is. And the namespace is basically a way of organizing your flows. So you can have a bunch of different namespaces with different flows in each of them. I'm going to use company.team, but in practice, you would rename this to the company you're working for in the team, such as Kestra.product or Kestra.devops. Now, if I press save, what we'll get here is our log task, and we'll see on the right-hand side, we've got documentation. And now this is where Kestra's pretty neat, because if I click on the log task, we get documentation for that task. So I can see some examples, I can see the properties it supports, so I can see that message is a required property, but I could also add a level if I wanted. And here the autocomplete comes up with what it suggests I could put in here. So I could set the level of this to be an error. But I'm going to remove that for now, and I'm going to execute this workflow just so we can see this hello world message work. I can press execute in the top right, and then it's going to open up the Gantt view where it can show us the tasks and how long they've been running for. I can click on each of them in the Gantt view and actually see the log messages associated. So in this case, I can see the log message was hello world. But we can also go to the logs view and the topology view to see the different steps of our workflow. Now with that in mind, I think it's time to start building a workflow with a few more steps. I'm going to get rid of this log task and I'm now going to add a Python task so I can run some Python code every time this execution runs. Every task has an ID and a type. The ID is similar to the flow ID. It's a unique identifier for that task. And then the type is whatever task you're using. So in this case, I want to use Python. So I'm going to search for Python here, and we can see here that we can use the python.script task. Now, this is where it gets really neat because, again, the documentation's helping me figure out what I can do. So here, it's going to suggest that I use script as that is a required property. So as you can see here, I can do that. And then I'm just going to copy and paste some Python code that I already had ready to go, like so. And here, I'm just going to use the requests library here to get an API request. And then I'm going to print that API request to the logs. But I need the requests library in order to do that. So we can use dependencies, which we can see here, to install that at runtime. And as we can see, we've got a green tick, so I can save our workflow now. We can actually use the examples here to help us figure out how to use it. So we can see here's an example with dependency in action. So very, very helpful. Now, with that in mind, let's execute this and see if it can print out the number of GitHub stars that the Kestra repository has on GitHub. So we can see it's run successfully, and we can see that it has in fact printed to the logs that correct message. Pretty neat. But we can go to the logs and we can see all of the debug logs as well, so we can see it spinning up. And it's worth noting that this Python task is running in its own Docker container, so it's isolated from other dependencies. but you can choose to run it outside of a Docker container if you would like. Now, let's add another task, but this time I'm going to add a dedicated log task. So I want to be able to use Python to process my data, but then I want to be able to send that data to another task. Let's look at how we can do that using outputs. Now, with Python, we have a Kestra Python library you can use to be able to send data from your Python script out to Kestra as an output. And then we can use an expression, which I'll show you in a second, to access that data in a later task. Now, let's install the Kestra library with dependencies, and then I can easily import the Kestra library like so. And what I can do is remove that print statement and instead replace it with this Kestra.outputs and then pass it a dictionary of the different key value pairs I want to send back to Kestra. So if I just quickly run this now, we'll see that when this runs, it's going to run like it did before. But we can now go to the Outputs tab and see that Python has generated some outputs that we can now access to other tasks. And I can see under vars here, we now have a new one called GitHub stars. And I can actually see this expression here allows me to see that too. And this is how we're going to access this in a log task in a second. Now we can also write our expression like so, where we can do .vars.github stars like this, which I think looks a little bit nicer. And I'm going to grab that like so, and I'm going to then add that to a log task. So let's now add our log task back in, log stars. We can use the autocomplete here to help us add that log task. And then I can add that message property like so. And then I can just paste in the expression. I can add a bit of text beforehand to say stars. And just like that, I can now access data from another task in a later task. It's also worth noting that there is a topology view too, so you can see how these two tasks are in relation to each other. So anyway, let's press execute and see if the log task is successfully able to access that information, which it is. So Python's able to generate that value and then it passes it on to the log task. It's worth noting that lots of tasks in Kestra, in fact, we have over 1,000 plugins, emit outputs, which you can then pass along to different tasks. We can actually use the documentation to see what outputs they produce. So we can see here that Python can also produce output files as well as the vars, but we can also see that other tasks produce all sorts of different values. So it's definitely worth having a look at that documentation, figuring out what data you want to get from that task, and then pass it on. Maybe that you've got a task that's going to download a file, but then you want to be able to upload it somewhere else. Outputs will do that for you. So hopefully that's given you a good taste of what Kestra is capable of, where we've built a workflow that can use Python to generate a value from an API and then pass it onto a log task so that we can see it in the logs clearly. Next, I would highly recommend checking out the tutorial on the documentation. We've got a 6-part series there where you can learn a little bit more about the concepts of Kestra and make your workflows more advanced and capable.